welcome back to another episode of MEW Mass Extreme Wrestling, where today we have for you a kind of like an interesting video that I've been wanting to make for a while now, and it is drafting or making a roster based on each letter of the alphabet. So, basically, I watched MDT do this video about a year ago. Go check out his video. His video was really good on it. And I got inspired to do it, but I wanted to do it a bit differently, so I will be picking a group, or like a faction, a tag team, or just a singles competitor from each letter, but I'm also going to be trying to make a women's division too. So I can pick either a women's faction, tag team, or just a single women's star from that letter as well. Now, there's a few criterias with this. If I can't pick a single man or woman, then that slot will be a freebie for a wild card rule, which means I can pick anybody I want. In the wild card rule is that. So, if the wild card, I believe it comes up twice in this, basically I can pick whoever I want, doesn't matter the letter, I can pick a team, it don't matter. I can pick anybody I want. So, if I want, like, I don't know, like, let's say we're at S, T. Let's say I had nobody for T, man or woman. So that would become the wild card rule. And then I could pick anybody I wanted to fill that category, so that way it's even. But it's pretty even. I only had to use wild card rule twice. And at the end of this video, we will take championships. I'm going to have about 5 divisions. Well, actually 6. And I'm going to build a WrestleMania style card at the end of the video. So we will have a full match card, and I'm really excited to make that. So let's get into this, and let's start with the very first letter of the alphabet. And we're going to start with A. Alright, so for A, for the men's pick, I went with AJ Styles. Can't get much better than AJ. AJ will fit in very great on the roster, I think, in my opinion. Really good pick right there to start things off. And we also picked a lady. We got Alexa Bliss. I love Alexa Bliss. I think she'll be a great fit in the women's division. She'll fit in perfectly somewhere, I think, in my personal opinion. Alright guys, and for the letter B, say what you want about this person and the kind of controversy he's in right now, but WWE is starting to acknowledge him again, so maybe that's been cleared up. But for the letter B, for the guys, I went with Brock Lesnar. How could you not pick Brock Lesnar? I swear anybody would probably pick him for their roster, and I agree with that. I would go with Brock just because Brock would fit in perfectly in any roster, in my personal opinion. And for B, for the women, I went with Becky Lynch. I love Becky. Apparently she's a free agent right now. In the world of professional wrestling, she did not re-sign with WWE, so I don't know. Nothing's really been confirmed on it. But yeah, apparently Becky Lynch is a free agent. But yeah, Becky Lynch for the women's pick. Next up, the letter C, I went with Cody Rhodes at the letter C, the current WWE champion in WWE right now. Went with Cody Rhodes, thought it was an absolutely perfect pick. And yeah, I think Cody Rhodes is going to bring a lot of star power to the roster, a big main event name. Alright guys, so for my women's side of the pick, for the letter C, you could have went with a few different people, but I chose to go with Carmella. I really enjoy Carmella a lot. She's actually one of my favorite women on the roster and one of my favorite women of all time. I actually really enjoy Carmella, and yeah, I think she'll fit in perfectly in the roster for the draft, but yeah. Alright, now on to the letter D. Now this one was interesting. For the letter D, I'm drafting a full-fledged faction. For the guys' side of it, I'm taking D Generation X. But I'm not taking just 2 members. I am taking Triple H, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. But I'm really reaching down in history. We're getting X-Pac as well. And also we're getting Billy Gunn for DX. China. Oh yeah, I'm really reaching in deep for the DX name. And last but not least, we got the Road Dogg. So yeah, there is a huge faction picking for the letter D. I thought that was great. A great pick, absolutely great. And I didn't just do a faction for the men's side. For the female pick on the letter D, I went with a full-fledged faction as well. So I went with Damage Control. So we got Bailey, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Asuka. Now, I would have also taken the other member of the Kabuki Warriors, but I don't have her. So, I'm just going to take those members of Damage Control, and now we're on to the letter E. Now, the letter E, you could have went with so many people, but I chose to go with one of my personal favorites of all time. I went with Evan Bourne. Yes, drafting the high-flying Evan Bourne. Really, really excited to see what he can do. Now, I couldn't think of anybody I could think of people for the female side, but I didn't have them, so we're just going to move right on to F. Now, for F, I went with Finn Balor. First ever inaugural Universal Champion. Super great, super excited for this. Now, on to the letter G. Now, for G, I went with the King of the Ring winner, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Ring General, Gunther. Went with Gunther. I thought that was an amazing pick as well. On to the letter H. Letter H, I'm drafting. So for H, I went with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. The Hardys are reuniting in my roster. Now on to the letter I. I was pretty easy to pick from. I went with Ilya Dragunov. I thought this was a perfect pick. Ilya Dragunov making his way. Now on to J. J was obvious. J was the most obvious pick in this whole thing. So for letter J, I went with the GOAT, John Cena. And for my female pick, because I actually thought of somebody with a J in her name, I went with recent WWE signee. I mean, she's been signed for a little bit now, but Jade Cargill. Oh, the women's division is shaping up very nicely. On to K. Now I went with KO, Kevin Owens. L, there was only one name I could pick. Let him talk to ya. L.A. Knight. Yeah. It's for the L's. And for my women's pick, I went with current women's World Heavyweight Champion, Liv Morgan. We're going to slide Liv back here. So we went with Liv Morgan for the L pick. For M, I think I did a really good pick for M. I'm not 100% sure. Let's do the female pick first. So for M, I couldn't really think of anybody. I mean, I thought of Mia Yim and a couple other females, but I inevitably went with Mandy Rhodes. I miss Mandy Rhodes. I really like Mandy Rhodes. I really liked her in NXT and when she was on the main roster. But yeah, drafted Mandy Rhodes for my guys pick for the men's roster, men's side of things. I went with the hardcore legend Mick Foley. And also, what I didn't say about this is, if I draft somebody with multiple personas, like, take Finn Balor, for example. He can turn in and morph into the Demon King. I automatically get the Demon King as well. Same goes for Mick Foley, since I drafted Mick Foley. If he wants to be Dude Love, Cactus Jack,
or Mankind, he has all permission to do that in my roster. Same with Finn Balor. If he wants to be the Demon King for a match, he can be the Demon King. So that's another thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. So Mick Foley, since I drafted him, he can be Dude Love Cactus Jack or Mick Foley or Mankind. He can be whichever one of his alter egos he wants to be, but I drafted Mick Foley. Now on to N. N was a pretty easy pick for me. I went with another faction. I went with the New Day. So we got Big E in there, Xavier Woods, we got Kofi, we got Xavier Woods in there, and yeah, pretty excited with that pick. Oh, well actually no. For my female pick on N, again, could have went with quite a few people for N, but I chose to go with a lady that I really, really enjoy, so I'm picking up Nikki Bella. I really love Nikki Bella, one of my personal favorite women to ever do it in WWE. So Nikki Bella is my female pick for N. And on to O. How could you not go with freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy? How could you not? On to P. Now you could argue with me that he's not really an in-ring competitor, but I don't care. It's my draft. It's my people. I went with Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee coming over into the roster. Really, really excited to see what Pat can do. And for the women, I went with Piper Niven. I thought that was a pretty decent pick for the women. Now for Q, I could not think of a Q for the life of me. I did not want to do like a Queen, like Queen Zelina or Queen anybody like that. So here's a wild card. So there's no guy and there's no men or woman pick for this. So this is what I would call the free pick, the wild card. And my wild card pick is somebody that I really, really enjoy watching each and every week. So, wild card pick is CM Punk. For my wild card pick, I don't care. Give me CM Punk. Now, for R, I went with Randy Orton and Edge. Give me rated RKO all day, every day. They're way in there in the back. And yeah. Now for S, I went with another faction. So for my S pick for the guys, I went with another faction. I went with The Shield, Roman Reigns, Jon Moxley, or Dean Ambrose, however you want to use them, it don't matter. And we have Seth freaking Rollins. Give me the Shield. Now for the female pick. Now for my female S pick, she goes by another name in AEW, but I'm using her as her WWE name. Give me the Boss, Sasha Banks. The Boss, the Blueprint, Sasha Banks. We miss you in WWE all the time. But now on to T. T was pretty fun to pick somebody out. So I went with Tommaso Ciampa. I thought Tommaso Ciampa was a pretty good pick as well for T. And for the female pick on T, I went with Tay Conti. Yeah. I went with Tay Conti. I thought that was a good pick. For you, you're probably thinking I went with The Undertaker. And you're darn right. I did go with The Undertaker. Give me the dead man all day, every day. One of my personal favorites of all time. Now on to V. V, I couldn't really think of anybody. I mean, I thought about Vader, but I didn't really want to include Vader. I kind of wanted to keep this kind of as current day as possible. I mean, obviously you could say that D-Generation X is kind of like out there, but it's within the line in my opinion. Same with Mick Foley, it's within the line. So I went with another wild card rule here, and I went with JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. I went for that pick right there. I thought that was a pretty good pick here for the wild card rule. And for W, I went with Wes Lee. I feel like Wes Lee would be really, really good in the mid-card division. And for X, X is another wild card because, well, I did Xavier Woods. I did everybody that had an X in their name in factions. So, again, the wild card rule applies. So, I went with another tag team to strengthen the tag team division. And it's one of my personal tag teams that I love. Super underrated. I went with Los Matadores. Fernando and Diego. Super underrated team, in my opinion. I loved Los Matadores. Super underrated. These are the only elites that they ever got in the green gear. They're perfect figures. Now for why. If you guys watched the most recent review on the channel, you will know that I just got Young Bucks figures. So them are who we are adding in. We're adding Matt and Nick Jackson, and everybody decides to fall in fear of the Young Bucks. Especially Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods just fell and took out Los Matadores with him. So clearly the tag team division is trembling with this pick. They are trembling that they have to face the Young Bucks. I would be too. Matt and Nick Jackson have a devastating super kick. And yeah, getting everybody set back up here. The Young Bucks have been added to the roster. And we are now down to 2 final picks. One for the men's and one for the women's division. And I am super excited. These Young Bucks do not want to stand up. Holy crap. I guess the Young Bucks really want to face Los Matadores. They keep knocking them over. Maybe that'll be the tag team match. Nah. I can't wait to show you guys what I'm thinking on for a WrestleMania card. Now, for the 2 final picks, I went with Zelina Vega for the women's pick. There goes JBL. Zelina Vega and Zack Ryder for the guys to round out the final pick. And I just realized something. I forgot one person. I still got to draft a female pick for the R category. So I'm going with Rhea Ripley here. She's the final pick in my A to Z draft. There's a better view of the fighting field right there. That is the 2024 draft of picking one person by the first letter of their name for both men and women. There's factions in there, everything like that. I'm super excited for this. I think this is awesome. So, I'm going to pick out the matches and we're going to go from there. So, I will see you guys when I have the match card built. Alright guys, in the first match that we would have for this WrestleMania card would be the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Yes, I would bring Money in the Bank back to WrestleMania. Kind of like what MDT did with his. He brought back WrestleMania for his, or he brought back Money in the Bank for his, which is what I would do, is bring Money in the Bank back for mine. So the women would be Piper Niven, Io Sky, Zelina Vega, Mandy Rhodes, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Tay Conti, Dakota Kai, and Carmella. Yes, almost every member of Damage Control is in this match, but I think that would make it so much more interesting to see how the 3 of them, like, if they could coexist and one of them could win, or if the 3 of them would ultimately be the downfall for all of them. This is how I would book it. I would have these 9 women compete for the Money in the Bank briefcase, and yeah, I think it'd be a good matchup. And for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I would have AJ Styles, Zack Ryder, Pat McAfee, Tommaso Ciampa, Wesley, Evan Bourne, and JBL all competing for the men's Money in the Bank briefcase. I think that would be a really, really good match in my opinion. I think this would be really, really good to get these 7 athletes together in a Money in the Bank ladder match, and I think it would just be straight money, no pun intended. But yeah, I really like this a lot. So, this would be the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And for the first one-on-one matchup, I would have Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. Oh my god, this would be a awesome match type. You have hitting style of Brock Lesnar with the technical and just the brute strength of Gunther. I think this match would be great. You'd have Brock Lesnar suplexing Gunther and Gunther just delivering massive chops to Brock Lesnar. I think this right here would be the perfect matchup for them two. And yeah, I'm sticking with this match. Next up, I would have straight faction warfare. It would be the New Day taking on D-Generation X's Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and X-Pac.
And then we would have the Shield, and I think this would be just a fantastic match, just a huge all-out war. This would be a 9-person Extreme Rules match. No holds barred match, no rules. The first faction to gain pinfall or submission will win the match, and it would be elimination based. This would be an elimination, no holds barred, just all out warfare, and I think this would be perfect. So yeah, I'd have faction warfare next up. Alright guys, and next up would be the big tag team championship ladder match. I would have 2 tag team championships on the line. I would kind of do what they did at this year's WrestleMania. So they had the Undisputed Tag Team Championships on the line, and they had 2 different teams win it. I would have 2 different teams come into this match as tag team champions, and basically we would be crowning either one new Undisputed Tag Team champion, or we would crown 2 different tag team champions, which I think would be cool either way. I'd have the Hardys and the Young Bucks coming into this thing as champions, and then the challengers would be Los Matadores, D-Generation X's New Age Outlaws, and the Rated RKO, and I think this would be a great match, and yeah, I really would enjoy this one. I think this would be the best way to utilize the tag teams, is put them in a big ladder match for championship gold and tag team supremacy and all that good stuff, and yeah, this is what I would do, and yeah, I like it. Alright guys, and next up I would do a #1 contenders match for the World Championship. So basically this would be my picfed. So it would be the MEW World Championship, and basically this would be the #1 contenders match for not the main event spot of the night, but for the next pay-per-view or the next match. Basically this crowns the #1 contender. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. I think this would be an awesome match at WrestleMania. And yeah, that's what I would do for this one. And I think I would enjoy it. #1 contenders match, yes. Alright guys, next up is a dream match that I'd love to see. Finn Balor versus The Undertaker. I think that would be an awesome match for WrestleMania. You have Finn Balor could come out as the Demon King, so you get 2 larger-than-life mythical characters, and I think that would be awesome for WrestleMania. Undertaker, of course, has a history at WrestleMania, and Finn Balor has also, you know, he's battled Edge at WrestleMania and all that good stuff, and I think if Finn brought out the Demon King for this match, I think that would be something special. Have the Demon King versus the Dead Man, and yeah, Undertaker versus Finn Balor, that would be next up. I like it. Alright guys, and next up would be the Women's Championship match. I would do Becky Lynch defending against Jade Cargill, and I think this would be an absolutely awesome match. You'd have Becky Lynch, you'd have Jade Cargill, Women's Championship on the line, WrestleMania. I think this would be perfect. And yeah, that's what I would have for the women's match, for the Women's Championship, and yeah. Alright guys, and next up, I would have a women's #1 contenders match. I probably could have put this before the Women's Championship match, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to put it after it. So basically, whoever wins the Women's Championship would then watch this match to see who their next challenger would be, and this would just be kind of a way to get a lot of the women that are in this roster in a nice match, you know, basically have them out there and have their moment to shine and everything like that. I think that would be absolutely awesome. And also to have the Women's Championship #1 contender spot available for this match, I think would be great. But you have Nikki Bella, Sasha Banks, Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Bloody Ripley. I think this is a great lineup for a #1 contenders match. And yeah, I like the idea. Alright guys, and next up we would have the Hardcore Championship on the line. Mick Foley would be the champion going into this, and I'd have him face Kevin Owens. I think these two could put on a very brutal match. This would be a Hardcore Championship match, though it would be hardcore rules and everything like that. You could have Mick Foley bringing out the barbed wire. There'd be lots of blood. It would be chaotic and violent and all that good stuff from a hardcore match, and I just think these two could really, really do it. I think these two could really do it, really pull it off. I think it'd be awesome. You could have Mick Foley maybe bring out Cactus Jack for the hardcore match, but you could also have just him as Mick Foley or you can do Cactus Jack, one or the other. But the Hardcore Championship match would be this, and I absolutely love it, and I think it would be great. Alright guys, and next up would be the Intercontinental Championship match. I would have Orange Cassidy defending against LA Knight, yeah. And these are two of my personal favorites that I absolutely love. I love Orange Cassidy, and I love LA Knight, and I think these two could put on a banger match. Put the Intercontinental Championship in there, and you have magic. You'd have straight magic right there. But yeah, that's what I would do for that. Alright guys, and for the main event of the evening, the main event of WrestleMania, of course, I had to put John Cena at the main event spot. MEW Champion, I know it's WWE Championship, but I would do this as my World Championship and my picfed. So it would be the MEW World Championship. It'd be John Cena defending against Ilya Dragunov, and I think this would be just a really good match of eras. Like you'd have Ilya Dragunov, John Cena, two really good workers in the ring and everything like that. John Cena could really pull a 5-star match out of Ilya Dragunov. Same goes with Ilya Dragunov to John Cena. These two would probably have match of the night in my book, but yeah, that's what I would do for this, and I think it'd be really, really cool. Let's get $1 Million Man back out here because he's the one that started this crazy journey off. And yeah, that's going to wrap things up for the video. I really did enjoy this. I really enjoyed doing this, picking a male and female wrestler from A to Z all the way through the alphabet. Really, really cool. I actually kind of want to start doing this. This video took a long time to do. My gosh, this took a long time to do, but it was well worth it for this, and I really enjoyed doing this, so maybe I'll turn this into a yearly thing. We'll do this every year. We'll basically take the champions from this. Basically, in a year, I could flip the champions around or keep them the same. Like if they've been champion for a year, maybe they've won it back or whatever, and all that good stuff. And, you know what? In a year, I'll revisit this. I think I'll revisit this. I'll do this in a year, and I'll come up with some new rules and everything like that. You know, maybe like I can only pick 5 people to keep from this draft pool, and then everybody else goes into a different draft. You know, everybody goes into a new draft pool and everything like that. And I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this. I know this video was a bit on the long side, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys were with me along for the ride and everything like that. If you guys were, consider hitting that subscribe button and leaving a like down below, and also commenting your thoughts about the video down below. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to think about it. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys in the very next video. Have a great day or night wherever you're in the world, and peace!